Hello everyone, welcome to Sunburned Albino shares his final thoughts on Pokemon Let's Go. Eevee specifically, since that's the one that I have talking points here. This is mildly unscripted. It's very unscripted. There's maybe like 30 words in this document, so... Oh no, there's 158. How about that? I just looked and that's what it said. So, visually, Pokemon Let's Go looks great. It looks really... The character models look good, like it looks like what the show wants you to think it looks like. Because previously, like, you know, you would watch the Pokemon anime, and then maybe you would go play original Red and Blue, and you're like, I'm sensing a little visual disparity here, because there was a giant one. But now, you can go from watching the Pokemon anime to playing this game, and you're like, this feels like the same world. It, you know, just the graphical quality allows you to not break immersion in that regard, which is very nice. It also has characters from the show, which, you know, people told me... I never played Pokemon Yellow, so I played Red and Blue, I didn't play Yellow. So people have told me that, like, Jesse and James were in the original Yellow, and, like, that Gary was too, or well, obviously Gary was in, like, everything, but, like, you know what I mean. Or, like, Ash was. I don't know. The point is, they have characters from the show, but, like, even if they were in original Yellow, they're so much better, they're so much fuller realized in this. You know, like, Brock and Misty look like Brock and Misty. And they act like Brock and Misty. Jesse and James and Meowth, for some reason the Meowth doesn't talk, and I don't get it. Like, isn't the Meowth supposed to talk? You know? He just says Meowth. How come Meowth doesn't talk in Pokemon Let's Go? I don't... It's weird. It doesn't matter. But yeah, characters from the show being in there is good. The most important change from Pokemon to this... that's ever happened, I think. The single best, most positive change Pokemon has ever made since its inception is there's no more random encounters. It's so good! You can just walk! And the Pokemon sprites will show up in the overworld and they'll walk around, sometimes they'll run away from you, sometimes they'll chase you down, but the point, you don't need repels anymore. I mean, sometimes the Pokemon will, like, block a thin passage, but then, you know, you just walk into it, run away, it's fine. But it's so good, because this makes it so much more streamlined to be able to choose which Pokemon you get into encounters with. You can see them. You're like, oh, I'm gonna pick and choose, like, oh, Rattata, get the fuck out of here. Pidgey, GTFO also. Look, there's the Rapidash I was after. So that's good. It's really good. Also, the Pokemon show up in different... Like, there's rarer Pokemon available in the wild, too. Like, they're rarer. Like, east of Vermilion City, you can catch Mr. Mime now, which was not possible. That was, like... That's the patch of grass where, like, Drowsy first shows up. And now Mr. Mime is there, and apparently Jinx is also there. At least that's what my friend told me. He could be lying, though. He is a pathological liar. But, yeah, like, good Pokemon that are rare, that don't usually appear, and you can get them earlier, and it's terrific. They're really, really hard to catch, but they're worth it. Which brings us to the Pokemon Go mechanics. So if you play Pokemon Go, the mobile thing, you know how catching Pokemon in this game works. It's a bit different. There's only, like, 2 control schemes. Which, this is the second game, this is the second Switch game I bought that doesn't let me use my Pro Controller. I'm like, why did I buy this thing? Nothing supports it. Super Mario Party forces you to use a single Joy-Con. And Let's Go Eevee forces you to either use a single Joy-Con, or 2 of them if you can do multiplayer, which I'm going to talk about that later, but single Joy-Con or handheld. And handheld is much better if you're trying to, like, aim your Pokeball. Motion controls, you're gonna fling that ball over the fence like 9 times out of 10. You're gonna throw it directly at the ground or just nowhere near where you're trying to go, and the Pokemon's gonna look at you like, why am I still here? But the gyroscope, you just aim and press A, and it goes right in the middle of the screen. Like, that's what you do. That's good. The problem is you can't do co-op and do handheld. So, like, if you're doing co-op catching, which you're going to see in this footage that is being played here that I'm not looking at right now, but I know I captured it earlier and I know what's in it for the most part. You know, co-op throwing is very bad. Both of you are going to miss. But you can synchronize your throws and you get more XP that way, which is nice. But so yeah, you throw the ball, you don't have to weaken the wild Pokemon, you just throw it. And if it's an excellent throw or a great throw or a nice throw, it improves your chance to catch it if you get it inside the ring. But, you know, you could have fooled me also, because Pokemon will routinely break out of excellent throws like you threw it like shit, which is rude. But especially in the later end game, like Pokemon, even with Ultra Balls, Pokemon just don't get caught. And it takes forever. Speaking of not getting caught, you're going to enjoy this Zapdos footage, I think. But, yeah. But I still like it. I like the mechanics. It makes catching Pokemon more valuable and easier, more streamlined, and it makes you actually, like, want to do it. I've never previously ever wanted to, like, catch them all. But now I kind of want to catch them all, because it's so, you just point and throw the ball at them. You don't gotta weaken them, paralyze them, put them to sleep, none of that. With certain Pokemon, you do have to, you battle them first, and then you take all their HP, and then it just turns into, like, a catching thing. Like, Snorlax does that, and all the legendaries do that. Pokemon Go also implements the candy system with, like, candies. Like, you transfer Pokemon that you don't want to Professor Oak, and then he gives you candy because he... I don't know, turns them into candy like Majin Buu or something. And then, you know, you can use those to increase your Pokemon stats. I love the way that works, because you can get candy and just buff the hell out of your Pokemon stats. It's great. And, you know, once you catch 30 Pokemon, you get the ability to judge IVs. Individual values are finally, like, visible now. And you get to see that. You can judge Pokemon's potential, whether they have okay stats, good stats, amazing stats, and which stats are, like, the best. And you can make a judgment call based on that, who you want into your party, which is great. It's very rewarding gameplay loop to try and maximize the potential of your partner Pokemon. It's very good. I like the candy system. And the more you catch the same Pokemon over and over again successfully, the more chance you have to get better stats on that Pokemon and to get shinies, which I never saw a shiny in my playthrough, and I did a combo of like 15. That was like the most. I didn't really spend that much time on it, but what's annoying is that also, as you increase your combo, like, rarer Pokemon will start to appear in the area as you have a higher combo, which is completely, like, counterintuitive, because if you then go catch a rarer Pokemon that you want, it resets your combo. Because you have to catch the same Pokemon over and over again. It's like, that's not nice. I was catching a bunch of Rapidash in the Pokemon Road, and then I was up to, like, 12 of them, and then an Eevee appeared. And I was like, oh, I want another Eevee, because I'd like an Eevee that I can actually evolve. And so I caught it, and then my counter got reset, and I was like, screw you. I'm 2 middle fingers for you in that. It was not fair. Not cool at all. If you're worried about running out of balls because Pokeballs are much more useful and used, you don't need to, really, because trainers give you Pokeballs after you battle them a lot of the time. They're like, oh, you got 5 Pokeballs from this trainer, or 3 Great Balls, stuff like that. Also, they, like, slash the prices of how much Pokeballs cost. Ultra Balls are only $500 now, which sounds expensive when you say bucks, but, like, you know what I mean. Great Balls are, like, 3 or 4. Pokeballs are 1, I want to say. And, yeah, so that, like, you're not going to run out of balls. You make a shit ton of money as you play the game. You could buy, like, hundreds and hundreds of Ultra Balls, and it's fine. Yeah, the weird drop-in co-op, like... If you connect both controllers, and then you can, if you shake the right controller, that will drop the second player, the support trainer, in, or you can shake it again to, like, just make them GTFO. And you can have, it's weird because, like, it makes it OP. Like, both of you enter combat against wild Pokemon, and then you can both throw a ball at the same time, which not only gives you a massive XP bonus, but apparently makes Pokemon easier to catch. Although I don't really find that to be true in my experience, but at least it does the XP, but not easier to catch. And also in battles, like, if you're in a battle, you're in a single battle, you can drop in, drop out even in the middle of battles. So, like, you are 1v1 against a trainer, and then you just shake your right control scheme, and all of a sudden your support trainer just parachutes in from the sky and sends out Alolan Ninetales. And you're just, oh, the enemy stands no chance now, that's cool. But yeah, co-op makes an already easy game even easier. I already talked about the control schemes. Pokemon don't have abilities in this game. they have like other modern things, you know, like there's fairy type and there's dark type and steel type and all that stuff. And there's all the like moves from Generation 7 and stuff. But there's no Pokemon abilities, which I think is actually good the more I thought about it. Because one, I didn't miss them. I didn't end up missing them. They made almost no difference. And two, it means you don't have to deal with annoying NPC trainer abilities. Like, you know, you don't have to worry about like going up all the Ekans you face having Intimidate, or, you know, getting paralyzed because you hit a Voltorb with a physical move and it had Static and Poison Point, things of that nature. So you don't have to worry about any of that, and that's good. That's very not annoying, which I find to be positive. So not having abilities is a choice I didn't understand at first, but upon closer inspection, it's actually pretty nice. Eevee, your starter. I played Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. I don't know about... I assume Pikachu's the same, basically. Like, they wouldn't make that much of a difference. Eevee can't evolve. Like, if you try and use a stone on it, it'll say, Eevee doesn't like that stone. It's like, fuck you, Eevee. You're not the boss of me, but it is the boss of you, apparently, because it won't use the stone. It won't evolve. But the way they balance that is that Eevee is OP as hell. First of all, you get a bunch of Eevee candies. Like, there's specific candies to Eevee, and if Eevee eats the Eevee candy, all his stats go up by 1. Not just 1, all of them. And there's like 20 Eevee candies that I found throughout my path, and I didn't explore everywhere, so I assume there's even more. So that's like a plus 20 to all stats as the game goes along. Also, Eevee's stat growth, Eevee has perfect IV points, so like his growth is already maximized. He's a roided out Eevee to begin with, and you can also boost his stats with the candies. And, not to mention, but as you go through the Pokemon centers, there's like these trainer dudes that are like Eevee specialists. They're like, hey, I can teach your Eevee these super amazing elemental moves. Would you like to have these absolutely irresponsibly, ridiculously powerful elemental moves? And you're like, hell yeah, I do. So then you know, there's like Sizzling Slide is like a fire move that does 90 or 95 physical damage and burns the target. There's Bouncy Bubble, which is a 90-95 special water-type move that absorbs health. That's insane. And then there's a move that's like, it's called Batty Bad, which is the dumbest, absolute, stupidest name I ever heard for a move that I ever heard. Ever have I heard a not a dumber. It's stupid. But it's also a 90-95 special move, and it's Dark-type, and it casts Reflect at the same time. So it's like, these are insanely good moves, and it makes your Eevee have like perfect coverage depending on what you're trying to do, which leads us to like a problem, because, and I'll get back to it because we're going to talk about other mechanics that lead into that. So you get shared XP from battles and Pokemon catches. Catching Pokemon gives you XP, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that. It's also your main method of leveling up, is catching Pokemon. Battles give you nothing, because shared XP is unturn-offable, this is the first game that made it not turn-offable, which is stupid. That's dumb. That's dumb. You should be able to turn off XP share for battles, at least. I understand, like, catching Pokemon. All your Pokemon level up, great. You want that. You know, catching Pokemon is how you get your team up to par. But if you want to singularly train singular Pokemon by having them go out into the battle, you should be able to do that, because otherwise you're getting like 500 XP from level 50 Pokemon that are trained, and your whole team gets 500 XP, and that's nothing. That's absolutely nothing. It should be like 1,800 for one Pokemon, but instead it's 500 each. And that's trash. So it makes trainer battles really pointless feeling, like, especially, and it makes those areas where like you have to unavoidably do so many of them, like Nugget Bridge or Silphco. It makes those areas an absolute grinding slog for no potential benefit pretty much whatsoever. Like, my Pokemon gained 1 or 2 levels the entirety of Silphco. It was so pointless. It felt so dumb. So shared XP is annoying. You should be able to turn it off, and I would turn it off for trainer battles and leave it on for catching Pokemon. That would be the best of both worlds. Another annoying thing is that this is our 5th time in Kanto. Not just in Kanto, this is our 5th time doing a gym badge trek through Kanto. Red and Blue, Gold and Silver, because remember, after you go to Johto, you go back to Kanto and get those 8 badges again. Then there's Fire Red Leaf Green, which is Kanto. There's Heart Gold Soul Silver, which is Kanto again with the Johto. And now, 5th, we have Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. I'm sick of Kanto, man. Kanto is wearing on my last nerve. It's the same place as it's always been. There is nothing to surprise me. It's, you know, Brock first, Misty second. It's the same, it's all the things. And oh, who's the 8th gym leader? Who could it be? The Team Rocket leader shocked me again. 5 times in a row now they've had to restart my heart. Like, ugh. So, yeah, Kanto is not surprising anymore. And not fun to me. I'm sick of it. I don't want Kanto anymore. Kanto should get nuked or tsunami'd. That's what you can quote Sunburned Albino on that. And then secret techniques. So like, you know, on Sun and Moon, they replaced HMs with like ride Pokemon. You could call and they do the thing that the HM would do. Pokemon Let's Go Eevee does a similar thing, except they teach all those techniques to Eevee, but they're not moves, so they don't like ruin your slots. They're just like, oh, we taught Eevee how to surf, like on an actual surfboard, and we taught him how to operate this weird balloon sky aerial machine, so that you can fly to cities you visited. And also, apparently, he's strong enough to push these giant stone blocks. That even though Eevee can't learn strength, I don't think, which is weird. Maybe it can. I don't think it can, though. Eevee's a tiny Pokemon. It having strength, I wouldn't buy that. But those are good. That's good. It doesn't clutter. Also, Eevee can learn Flash. Like, it can light up... Like, it's not Flash. It's called Light Up. So you can light up Rock Tunnel, the one place that you ever need to do that. But, yeah, I mean, you know, HMs are annoying and cumbersome, and... you know, you don't want to have to account for them, so it's good that you don't anymore. Which is not like a new thing, but yeah, I like the way that Let's Go Eevee does it. There's no playable Game Corner anymore, so there's no Pokemon prizes, which is lame. Game Corners were fun. I especially liked Voltorb Flip from Heart Gold and Soul Silver. That's still my favorite Game Corner game ever. But there's none of that, so Celadon City is no fun. The Go Park replaces the Safari Zone. It lets you transfer Pokemon from Go to Let's Go, but not back. I have an iPhone 5C, and Pokemon Go stopped working with older phones like a bitch, so I get no benefit from that, but that's a feature. I don't know anything about it because I'm a peasant with a 5C, I suppose. Post-game is basic, just like, you know, they're like, oh, have you heard that Mewtwo's in the Cerulean Cave? We should go catch it. Yeah, okay. And that's basically it. They have like titles, like you can fight a level 75 version of whatever Pokemon if you want to be with your own Pokemon of that, if you want to be an Eevee Master or a Raticate Master. Who the hell would want to be a Raticate Master? Who is like, you know, my dream. Once my Rattata, my favorite Pokemon, evolves into Raticate, I'm gonna be known as the Raticate Master. I'm gonna fight all these other Raticate Master wannabes. There's probably at least 2 of them. Like, you know, there's one for every Pokemon, and that's it. There shouldn't be. Some Pokemon don't deserve that honor. But, you know, overall, just like, Let's Go is what I imagine watching the anime made us feel like a Pokemon game was always supposed to be. It's terrific for newcomers. It's solid for veterans, even though Kanto fatigue is strong. But overall, positive experience with Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. Worth it. Worth your money, yes. I think you will enjoy it regardless of your, you know, status as how experienced you are. I liked it. I hope we never go to Kanto again, but I liked it. So that's going to do it for this final thoughts. You follow me on Twitter at Sunburned Albino. You like, share, and subscribe and whatnot. You can go to Patreon, patreon.com/Sunburned Albino to support the channel financially, if you would like. And I will see you guys next time.